It's been said that Yitziras Avlad B'Isha is 40 Yom. It takes 40 days for the child to be formed. They have pictures, they have pictures of as the embryo develops, like what? Yeah, at a certain point, it's okay. It's considered a child.
This is
I guess the head and
to what mammal?
We're starting off with the human.
Is about a human.
Yeah,
okay.
the human. Someone asked me yesterday a riddle. 2 things that come from a non-kosher animal that are edible. So right away I said honey, and I couldn't get the other one. Milk of a woman. Because you say animal, you don't think of a human. But, okay. What's the problem? That are kosher. 2 things that come from a non-kosher animal that are kosher.
That are kosher. Oh, I didn't hear the are kosher.
Okay. Say. Boy, Rav Chisda's question now is bebehema bekama. How long does it take for the child to be considered? You see, because we said tinuf means that it had to be an embryo.
Right.
Just like the menstruation, that wouldn't be considered a birth. That's not a birth.
Right.
So it has to be something had to develop.
Right.
So how long would it take in an animal for something to develop that it's not a full term, but it's still considered something happened there? Amalei Rav Papa Labai live Hana de Ziri. Isn't that what Ziri said? Ziri said tinaf is 30 days. Damar Ziri ain't tinaf bachs mishleishim yaim. He responds back. Abaya responds to Rav Papa. He says, "Hula kabbalit man. That's not talking about the development of the embryo. That's talking about after it gives birth. It won't mate for another 30 days. It needs 30 days to recuperate. That doesn't tell me anything about this." Okay. Gemara doesn't answer.
That's you have to go to a chacham.
It should say, look in gallon or something. Send me to some other. But okay, matzino lekeach me'ovid kechavim. We've learned the halachas of what happens if you buy an animal from a guy. It was a machlekes. How old it is, based on how old it is, did it have a child before or not? Lekeach mi Yisrael mai. Let's say you buy an animal from a Jew. We didn't say anything about that. Amarav b'char vadai. If you buy it from a Jew, then that's definitely, your first animal is definitely going to be a b'char. Why? Dimi said the bikra. Let's say it had a first animal first. It already had a first animal. He would have put that into his sales pitch. He would have said, you don't have to worry about giving this to the kohen. You'll already make money off your first animal.
And he'll charge him
and right, that'll be part of the advertisement for this.
In the price.
So the fact that he didn't do that means that you have a bachar. Or else he would have said that.
It's like saying pre-owned instead of used,
I never thought of that. That's what they do? Pre-owned.
They don't say used cars, which is what we always say. Now it's pre-owned cars. Right? So it's here. Isa was given, Chala's genannt, b'chor medafnish.
Certified pre-owned.
They're not cars, they're driving machines.
Oh, that's only the
It's a pre-owned
BMWs.
driving
That's the
machine.
BMWs. Which changed name once you own it. Then it's Beamer or whatever. It's like a Porsche
Beamer.
becomes a Porsche. A
Fix it
Jaguar
again.
becomes a Jaguar. Once they owned it, they changed the name.
Yeah,
How
it
they
becomes
pronounce
fix it again, Tony.
I couldn't believe I was hearing this, but I heard a little girl saying, her father was saying, I would like to get a BMW. So the girl said, how could you get a BMW? The advertisements are so terrible. I couldn't believe I was hearing that, but that was like, you don't even like follow that, but this young generation buys the ad. They pay for it. I couldn't believe. I was like, are you serious? But that's the.
I just want you to know that in 2018, my daughter, who's the model, was the Dodge girl in all the models.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which was funny. She played the mother in the station wagon model. She was the sporty girl in there. People are so idiots when they look at these ads or on TV. Nobody recognizes the same person.
Interesting.
Oh.
Whoa, that's hard on people.
Shmuel, let's go. We did Rav's opinion. Shmuel says, Shmuel Amar Bechar Suffolk. Shmuel says, you buy it from a Jew, he didn't say anything, it's a suffix. Because why? He didn't say anything because he thought maybe you wanted to shecht it. You weren't raising this to raise livestock. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, chulin v'adayin. It's definitely chulin. Why? My timer. If it didn't have a firstborn, even the kisura, because there's a prohibition there, it would have told you. It's like you didn't check the vegetables and you're giving it to your neighbors. You have to say, I didn't check the lettuce yet. You're going to need to check. You have to say, you have to do this. I didn't toivel or whatever. Tani kavasei de Rabbi Yochanan, we'll bring a raya. The Amar chulin. He says that it's chulin. That it's, in other words, it's a pashat, that the first animal is not going to be a bechar. We're talking about Oisev Espenai, that if you buy an animal and the seller doesn't tell you that you can't shecht it today, it must be because the mother was shechted earlier. You don't have to worry about it. If the mother would have been shechted today, then the seller should have told you, you have to wait till tomorrow to shecht it because you can't do Oisev Espenai, you can't shecht it the same day. That's a proof that the obligation is on the seller to notify the buyer of his obligations. So the fact that he didn't notify him means that there's no problem. Gemara says, that's not just a raya to Rabbi Yochanan, that's a kasha on Rav and Shmuel, that's a brisa. The Gemara says it's not true, because Hasam b'moichet al yamilsa. Over there, that's a prohibition on the seller. Hacha b'lekech tal yamilsa. Over here, whoever owns the animal has that obligation. It has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with the seller. He's not buying an animal that's pregnant, let's say, or maybe he is buying an animal that's pregnant. It doesn't matter. Wherever this animal is born, that's when you have the obligation. It would be like, mezuzahs or something, When you move in, that's your obligation to check your mezuzahs to this. I don't have to tell you when I check the mezuzahs on the house. Or something. That's not part of my thing. I'm selling you the house. Whoever lives there has to do that. So here, whoever the animal is born, he's the one that's got to take care of that. He doesn't have to work on that. Okay.
This happens with everything. When you want to check the history of a car or a house or anything like that, whose obligation is to get the history of the buyer? Buyer beware.
The
Whatever.
title company.
Yeah, well, that's
but
not
who's
100%
who hires
accurate.
the title company? The buyer.
Yes. However,
That's the old law, caveat emptor.
Meaning, buyer beware.
Buyer beware, that's the legal word to describe.
it's
I
the
mean, now
buyer's
it's not
responsibility to
it's
find
not
out.
so strict anymore with all the consumer
However-
protection laws, but
Taisvus before on Daf Yud Gimel we said over there that we're discussing Mekach Tois. If you buy a bunch of pieces of silver and you find an Avodah Zarah in there, so we said that if you gave the money, then you had the obligation to check it, and it's not considered Mekach Tois. But Taisvus says that normally in other cases, you don't say that the obligation is on the seller. You can still go back. He says, yeah, I know, I should have looked at it, but the fact is you tricked me. It's not what I thought I was getting. And I can still retract from the sale. It's only over here where it was by a guy, where it was really his obligation to look at it. That's the... Okay, let's leave the Gemara here at the Mishnah. Shekayach.
We're on time.
We're up to date, yeah.
Yeah, they just